Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. If it's your first time here, my name is Francesca. Hello, and here on my channel I post Sims 4 speed build videos. So in today's video, I am building a multi-generational duplex family house in the world of Sequoia, which is the world that we've got with the Growing Together expansion pack. And I am building a duplex house in honor of the fact that tomorrow we're going to get the Sims 4 for Rent expansion pack. And I'm saying tomorrow because today is the 6th of December for me. So I'm recording this voiceover on the 6th of December, and the pack comes out on the 7th of December, so for me is tomorrow. And I'm really excited because finally we're going to be able to build apartments from scratch. And this new pack introduces a new feature, actually a new lot type, which is called residential rental lot. And this lot type allows you to have multiple families living on the same lot. So we can build apartments with up to 6 units. We can build duplexes, like in this case. Basically a duplex, I think, is a kind of a building with 2 units, so 2 families are living here basically. And yeah, or you can rent out basement. So basically the main gameplay feature is that you can play as a landlord or as a tenant. So if you play as a landlord, you can basically rent out one of the units, and you don't have to live on the lot, you can live somewhere else. But yeah, you're gonna make money out of, renting the houses to someone else, to other Sims. So yeah, it's really interesting, and it's definitely something completely different from the apartments that we have inside my Shuno that come with the City Living expansion pack, because those are not fully customizable. You can just change the floor plan and that's it. Actually, now you can also change the windows, because with the new update, so there was basically a big base game update, which we always have when a new expansion pack comes out, because obviously to make that expansion pack work, they have to update the base game. But this time they surprised us and they decided to have also in the update, basically the update didn't really just regard the base game, but they also updated the City Living expansion pack, and now you can edit the windows that are in the apartments in San Myshuno, which is really cool. Finally, we can do that. Unfortunately, we can't edit the doors, which is a shame because I find those doors really ugly. I don't want to be offensive, but the doors that I use are really not the vibe. But yeah, anyway, the windows are at least a thing that now we can customize, and it's really cool because I also don't like, not even the style of the window, but the placement of the windows, if that makes sense. Sometimes it's really like not in the best position, and I want to change that because maybe I want to change the floor plan, and I can't do that because I can't change the placement of the windows unless you have a mod. And speaking of mods, I want to warn you that you're going to see me using the tool mod. Actually, I'm using tool mod right now to edit the door, that the garbage door basically. And yeah, I decided to download the tool mod finally. It's been ages since I wanted to download the tool mod, but I don't know, I was always intimidated by this tool mod. First of all, I thought that it was so complicated to download. For some reason, I had this idea in my head that downloading the tool mod and downloading the actual mod into the game was something that was taking so much time, but instead it was so easy and hassle-free. So if you've been thinking to download the tool mod, you go ahead because it's really easy to download. And also I was thinking that it was going to be really hard to use. For some reason I was thinking, first of all, I'm not a logic person, and I was thinking that it would require like math and calculations. I don't know why I had this idea in my head, but yeah. But then I was watching like some videos on YouTube of creators, YouTubers using the tool mod, and I was like, I really want to try the tool mod. Like, I don't know why I'm limiting myself here. I really want to download it and see how it works. So I did it last week, and I've been playing around with the tool mod for this past week, and it's been really fun. Unfortunately, yesterday I was finishing this house, and basically the entire game broke because there was the update, and so the mod broke, and so I couldn't like finish this house using the tool mod because I don't think that they updated the tool mod with a new version of the game, so I had to wait. But yeah, so basically I couldn't finish this house using the tool mod. I didn't use the tool mod a lot for this house. I was just, you know, adjusting small things, also because I'm not really familiar with all the features that we have with the tool mod. I was just using like the small kind of features, like maybe increase the size of an object, decrease the size of an object, or things like that. So basically for the garage, what I did was to lower a little bit the garage door. And the garage door, by the way, is the door from the Snowy Escape expansion pack that I always use as a garage door, because for me that's the garage door. I don't know why. I don't want to be too repetitive with my builds, but whenever I have a garage, I'm using the Snowy Escape door for the garage. But yeah, so basically that door is for the medium wall height. Sorry, I said that in the wrong way. But so basically that door is for the medium wall height, and so I'm building on a small wall height, and that door was too big, so I had to lower it a little bit to make it fit. And to do that, I used the tool mod. But yeah, I used the tool mod for really small things. But yeah, anyway, moving on. As you can see, I'm now working on the front of the house, and let me tell you that building this house was pretty easy, because basically what I had to do was to figure out the shape and the main structure of one unit, and then I had to just copy and paste that next to the first unit, and yeah, that was it. So it wasn't really hard to figure out the main structure, the shell of this building, because yeah, basically just had to copy and paste. But as you can see, I tried to make them at least a little bit different from each other, using different swatches, using different doors. Actually, the doors are like from the same expansion pack. They're from the Growing Together expansion pack, but at least I went for a different swatch. So I went for a yellow swatch for the grandparents' house, and then for a red swatch for the other house. And for the grandparents, I decided to go for this creamy, you know, color scheme, and then for the other house I decided to go for a blue color scheme. And the siding that I used are from the Growing Together expansion pack, as well as the columns that you see in the front and where the porch is. And then the shingles instead are from the Cats and Dogs expansion pack, and for some reason I found a swatch that matched the siding from Growing Together, which I was really happy about. And then yeah, the same thing applies to the other unit. So I used the same wallpaper from Cats and Dogs, and then I used the same wallpaper from Growing Together. The windows are also from Growing Together, the one that I used in the bump out, but the other windows that are where the garage is are from the Snowy Escape. And if you know me, if you have been watching my previous videos, you know that I'm in love with that window from Snowy Escape. I don't know what it is, but it's just perfect for every single house that I build. And last time I built a base game family home and I couldn't use that window, and I was completely gutted because I have to use that window everywhere. But yeah, so this time that I was not limiting myself with packs, I could use that window, and I was really happy about it. I mean, look at it, it looks really good. I don't know what it is, but to me it looks really good. And also like the fence that I'm using, like where the porch is from Growing Together, but the fence that is like in the front, kind of in the front, where basically where I placed down also a column, like a small pillar in the front of the house, and basically the fence and the pillar are from the debug base game debug. And I normally like to use fences from debug instead of using the actual fence, because I don't like when there's a gap between the sidewalk and the house itself, or like the driveway or wherever I'm doing. So I really like to use the debug fence because I can do, you know, on the edge of the lot. And with the other fence instead, you can't, you can't, you know, draw the fence on the edge of the lot, and I really don't like that. So that's why I use a lot debug fences. But anyway, you can see that I used the debug fences in the front. However, I'm going to change and I'm going to use another debug fence, but because I didn't like the swatch, not the swatch because they don't really come with swatches, but I didn't really like the orange color of that fence, so I decided to swap it with another debug fence from the base game. I'm going to do that basically at the end of the exterior part of this house. And yeah, I did that. And then now I'm also working on the two porches. So I didn't really know what to do with the two porches because they were kind of long and big, but I placed down like a bench, I placed down some plants. So I was really trying to, make it seem as if there were two families living in the two units, but like with different, lifestyles and different tastes and different families, not making, doing copy and paste for everything. So I try to make them a little bit more personalized, if that makes sense. So as you can see, on one side we have the basketball net, because I was thinking that maybe the family that has, children, one of the children might be into basketball. So I placed that down, and I also placed down the basketball court. I can't remember from which pack it is. However, I didn't place the full basketball court because obviously it didn't fit in the front of the lot. But I placed down, so basically if you look through the swatches of the basketball court, you can see that there's one that just comes with like not the full basketball court, but just part of it. And so I placed that down where the driveway is, and I was thinking that maybe when the children are not in school, they maybe play with the parents or maybe with the grandparents in where the driveway is. And I also placed down a debug card in front of the driveway, not in front, on the driveway, and on each side, because I thought that obviously both families have a car, and obviously they're not functional, so your Sims can't really drive them. I say this all the time, they're just for aesthetic purposes. I like the way they look, they make the build look more realistic. So I really like placing down debug cars whenever I have a driveway or whenever I have a garage. And I like to have a garage whenever I build family homes, because they just make the home look a little bit more realistic. And I don't know, the garage gives to the house that suburban look to me. For some reason also I was thinking to go for this suburban style for this house, because if you look around in the world of Sequoia, you see that all the houses have kind of this family home, suburban family home look. So I was going for that for this house as well. But anyway, as you can see, I'm now working on the back portion of the building. And as you can see, each house has its own back garden. I make them kind of the same shape, but they're completely different from one another, because one has a greenhouse, the other one has a swimming pool. I was also trying to decorate them in a different way, also thinking about what the grandparents were doing, and maybe what the family was doing. So because I was thinking that the family has kids, maybe they wanted a swimming pool, and so yeah, they're decorated completely different. I was also thinking that maybe grandma is into gardening. I know that that's such a cliche, because I feel like every time I'm building something for grandma, she's into gardening. But I don't know, I really wanted to use this stuff from the greenhouse, and I thought the greenhouse that I built looked really good there. So it was more just for me. I didn't really want to make grandma into gardening at all costs, but I was like, I want to have a greenhouse, so I'm just gonna pretend that grandma is into gardening. So excuse me if I sound repetitive, or I don't know if it's just a stereotype, but yeah, I really want to have grandma into gardening. So because of that, I placed down some planters, and in the greenhouse I'm going to place down a lot of vases, a lot of plants. I'm going to place down I think it's a flower arranging table from the greenhouse even kit. However, I'm not gonna show you the furnishing of the greenhouse because this video was really long, and I decided to cut that part out. And I also cut out a lot of rooms because yeah, otherwise this video would have been really long, and it's already 46 minutes long, so you have to excuse me if I did that, but I didn't want to make this video really long. Basically what I cut out is the two garages, and then I cut out the kids' bedroom and the bathrooms. I think I kept one of the bathrooms, I think. And then what else I cut out? I can't remember. Oh yeah, another bedroom. Basically, in the grandparents' house, there are two bedrooms. One is the grandparents' bedroom, and the other one is a bedroom which I was thinking used to belong to the child of the grandparents, and when he grew up or she grew up, they moved out obviously, and they don't live there anymore. They live, now on the other unit. But I was thinking that now that room is for the grandchildren, so when they come to visit the grandparents, maybe they can sleep there. And that room used to belong to one of the parents of the children. But yeah, anyway, I cut the part out because yeah, otherwise this video would have been really long. I don't know why I spent 20 minutes just on the outside and 20 minutes, I'm saying 20 minutes sped up. So basically, yeah, 20 minutes of this video are just me decorating the exterior. So basically, I just had another 20 minutes for the interior, because normally I want to keep my video around 40 minutes long, not more than 40 minutes long, because otherwise editing the voiceover is a total nightmare. Because honestly, recording the voiceover takes me a really long time, because I don't know, English is not my first language. So sometimes I make mistakes and I had to cut, those mistakes out of the video, but then it's really hard to make the voiceover match the video if I edit the voiceover, if that makes sense. So I can't do that, so I have to re-record the part, and yeah, it's really a nightmare. And I don't know why, but I'm such a perfectionist, and I want that every single word that I say is perfect, and I don't want to make any mistakes. And I don't know why, but I should be probably a little bit more gentle with myself, because I'm not talking to like a professor, I'm talking to like friends, and when you're talking to friends, you sometimes make mistakes, and but they don't care. And I don't know why I care so much. So it takes me ages to record a voiceover, and imagine if I had to record a voiceover that was, I don't know, 1 hour long. That would be such a nightmare. Even like recording a 40-minute long voiceover is a nightmare, because I had to, yeah, as I said, edit the voiceover whenever I make a mistake. And yeah, but anyway, moving on from that, if you hear a noise, it's my dad working downstairs in the garage. You know what? Every time I make a garage in The Sims, every time I try to furnish a garage, I never know what to do. And most of the time, I tend to like decorate my garages, placing down like the woodworking table, or make it seem as if, the garage is for the Sims working from home, basically. And I think I always take inspiration from my dad, because my dad works from home, because he has his own garage, and basically in the garage he has all the equipment and all the stuff that he uses to work. He's basically a mechanic. He basically repairs motorcycles, vintage motorcycles. And yeah, so he does that, and I'm always like taking inspiration from what his garage looks like. But anyway, moving on from that, as you can see, I am now furnishing and decorating the other backyard, which is like the family's backyard. And in this backyard there's a swimming pool, and I placed down also a grill with some counters, just to kind of make it seem a little bit different from the other back garden, because in the other back garden we also have a grill, but it's like a smaller one, more like vintage looking. And yeah, I did that, and also placed down a table with some chairs. Also in the other back garden there's a table with some chairs, but I decided to, in the other back garden, the grandparents' back garden, I decided to place down a table from the backyard stuff bag, which is really nice. I don't think I've ever used that in that swatch, and I really like the swatch with a flower on it. And then yeah, in the other backyard instead there is an umbrella, but the umbrella is from the base game, and I decided to place it down, by the swimming pool with a couple of lounge chairs. And then that's pretty much it. As you can see, I'm now working on the front again, because I am changing the fences that I had placed down before, because I didn't like the color. And so I decided to go for another debug fence from the base game, because I liked the color more, and it also matched the wallpaper that I used. Basically where the garage is, I used a different wallpaper. I used the bricks, I think from City Living, and that wallpaper matched more the fence. Then in the front, I also placed down a couple of trash cans on each side, and then where the driveway is basically. And then I placed down some more planters where the grandparents' driveway is. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't know how I spent 20 minutes just on the exterior, because if you think about it, the landscaping is really simple. I didn't landscape the side of the lot. I just placed down one tree and that's it. Basically, I tried to use like bushes and trees from the Growing Together expansion pack because I really wanted this house, this lot to blend in with the environment. So I used a lot of the Growing Together expansion pack stuff because I really wanted to achieve that. And yeah, as you can see, I've now moved on onto the inside of the grandparents' house, and I'm now furnishing the entryway. So I think that now it's time to tell you a little bit more about the grandparents and the storyline that I had in mind for the grandparents. So I was thinking, as I mentioned before, that they got married really young and they purchased this house. So when they purchased this house, they were really young and it was a really long time ago. And I really want to reflect that with the style of the house. So I decided to go for furniture that was more traditional looking, that looked like it's been there for ages. So definitely not a modern furniture style. And yeah, so I did that. But also I was thinking that both the grandparents are into traveling. So I know that I said that grandma is into gardening, but she's also into traveling, and they're both into traveling. And when they were younger, they used to travel a lot together. They went to the most remote places on the earth, and whenever they used to go on their little trips, they used to collect stuff from the place we're going to. So they ended up with a house full of random things and random paintings and random, I don't know, stuff from each of the place that they went to. So I just really tried to make it seem as if the house was really cluttered up with a lot of different items from different cultures and different places. So yeah, and I really tried to do that also in the garage. I'm not going to show you the footage of the garage, but basically in the garage I placed down like the vases from the Jungle Adventure game pack, and because they look like from a totally different place, they're from Salvadorada, so maybe the grandparents traveled to Salvadorada, they had a really nice trip there and they brought home some vases. But I also placed down a broken vase because I was thinking that maybe, I don't know, grandpa was really searching for something old and important to bring home. And so when he was digging to find something, he found this vase, but it was broken, and he brought it home and now is trying to repair it. But however, this vase has a really high value because it used to belong to I don't know who maybe, and it's really old. So he's trying to repair it, and then once it's repaired, he wants to donate the vase to the local museum so everyone can go and check it out. Also in the garage, I placed down the archaeology, it's called the archaeology table, I don't know, but yeah, it's from the Jungle Adventure game pack, and I was thinking that maybe grandpa could be into archaeology as well because they like to travel a lot, and maybe whenever they travel, because they also have this, actually the grandpa has this passion for archaeology. Whenever he travels, he always try to dig and find things that are underground and find things that has to be discovered yet, things like that. So I really try to make it seem as if he's into this type of things. And yeah, so moving on, as you can see, I'm now furnishing the kitchen. However, before I was furnishing the living room, and in the living room I decided to place down the couch from the Growing Together expansion pack because that couch looks so lived in because it's got a blanket on it, it's got pillows, so it looks cozy and lived in, perfect for me for the grandparents' home. And then I placed down also the coffee table from, I think it's the movie Hangout stuff pack. I've never used that table before, but I thought it looked really vintage, so I really wanted to use it. And then I placed down the fireplace from Cats and Dogs because that fireplace looks really traditional with the mirror. And because I couldn't place the TV above the fireplace as I always do because that fireplace has got the mirror, I decided to place down a small side table. And on top of the side table, I placed down, that side table is actually from I can't remember the name of the pack now. Oh my gosh, Jungle Adventure. I mentioned before, but I couldn't remember it now. I was about to say Selvadorada, but that's not an expansion pack, but yeah. Anyway, so I placed down that side table and I placed down a TV on it. Obviously, I don't have a super fancy TV, but yeah, it's still like a flat screen TV. I didn't give them like such a old TV because I mean, they kind of upgraded a little bit at TV since the 1950s or something, but yeah, anyway. And then I was furnishing the kitchen, as you could see before, and in the kitchen I used the base game counters. Those are my favorites, and I used them also in my previous build, in the base game build that I uploaded last week. They're my favorite, and I decided to go for a dark brown swatch because it was matching kind of the vibes of the house. And then, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that also in the entryway I placed down like the growing together rug because that rug is really like vintage looking and I thought looked really good there. And I was thinking that they have all these fancy rugs because I'm going to place down so many fancy rugs in this house, and I was thinking that they have collected these rugs from the places that they went to. So maybe they went to Asia and they brought home, you know, those beautiful rugs that they found in Asia with all these beautiful patterns. So this is what I was thinking. And also in the entryway, I don't know if you could remember, but I placed down, I'm sorry, the noise is getting really loud. I'm really, really sorry. Every time I have to record a voiceover, there's my dad working downstairs. I know it's not his fault, but every time I feel like I have to address this. But yeah, anyway, I was saying that in the entryway, I also placed down this painting. It's actually not a painting, basically it's a set of frames, and in the frames there are some, what looks like to me a map, or yeah, I think it's a map. But yeah, I was thinking that they might be like a map from a place they went to, and they look really old, almost like really worn out, no? And I was thinking that maybe grandpa used to work as a, I don't know, maybe not as an archaeologist, but used to work in, you know, that field where you, I don't know what the job is called, but you know, the person who found like the antique, not found, but repairs the antiques, you know, like for example, whenever you found a map, let's say, and that map is really ruined, you can't read what's on it, and so you need that person that uses a mixture of something, and they put the map in the mixture of, it's a liquid, they put the map in it, and basically the map kind of looks a little bit better. I don't know how to explain this, but I hope you know what I mean. So I was thinking that maybe grandpa used to do that, and they found this map and they kind of did that, they did all the what they had to do to, in order to make it a little bit better looking, so they could read what was actually on the map, but it still looks, you know, really ruined and really worn. But yeah, they did that, and because of that, now they could hang it on the wall, and they framed it and hang it on the wall because it was, you know, really, and a really important map that they found, and they wanted to frame it. But yeah, anyway, moving on from that, sorry for this long tangent that I took. I don't really know the names of these things, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I hope you guys understood, because yeah, as I said before, my first language is Italian, my second language is English. I don't know all these specific names in English, so I'm really sorry if you know the name of that person, and if you know like what the process is called, let me know in the comments down below so I can learn something new. But anyway, as you can see, I'm now working on the bedroom, but before I was working on the dining room. So I really like the dining room of these two houses because we have like a big sliding glass door which is open, and that door, I think it's from the Desert Lux kit, and because of that we have so much light coming in, and where the dining table is looks really good. So I placed down a dining table from the Horse Ranch expansion pack, and then I placed down two different types of chairs. I placed down one from Cats and Dogs, and then I placed down one from the Cottage Living expansion pack, because I was thinking that obviously they don't have all the chairs matching, because they maybe bought one chair, one year, and then 30 years later they bought another one for some reason, because maybe they needed more chairs for the guests. So I decided to do that, and it looks really good because both of the chairs have like green pillows, green cushions. So it looks really good, I think. And then in the dining room, I also placed down a cabinet from the Jungle Adventure expansion pack. I placed down some plates on it. And then, yeah, and then moving on, I was working on the bedroom. So the grandparents' bedroom is really like, I still try to make it, traditional looking and like a grandparents' bedroom would look like, I think. And in there I placed down the bed from, I think it's Cats and Dogs. Yeah, Cats and Dogs. And then I placed down a couple of armchairs by the windows. I really like the fact that we have that bump out, which is really good because we have again a lot of lights with all those windows. And yeah, I placed down a couple of armchairs, and then I placed down, I think, a chest of drawers from still from Cats and Dogs. And that's pretty much it. I also decided to place down the mirror from the Basement Treasures kit, because that mirror is just, the epitome of, the vintage looking style stuff that we have in the game. So I decided to use a lot that pack, because not that pack is a kit, but that kit, because it was just perfect for this house. And now, as you can see, I'm furnishing the office room. I decided that I wanted to include the footage of this office room. In the end, I was like, no, I really have to include the footage of this room, because I really like the way it turned out, and also really represents the idea that I had in my head for the grandparents. So I was thinking that grandpa, or maybe even grandma, comes in here and they work on their stuff. They basically, have collected a lot of things, and they also really like to read, and they're really, I don't know, smart, and they really like to have a lot of knowledge regarding everything that they do. So I was thinking that they come in here, they read, they work a little bit on their computer. But yeah, I really wanted to make it seem as if this is a room for someone who is really into reading and into basically, I don't know, historical things, if that makes sense. And so I decided to place down some books from the, I think, Book Nook Kit. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. So I placed them down everywhere, and I placed down also the shelves from the Book Nook Kit with a lot of books in it, to make it seem as if they collected so many books throughout the years. Because as I said, they really like to read, they really like to discover new things. So obviously, if you want to discover new things, you need to read them first, and then maybe you go to the places and you kind of know already what you are seeing or things like that. So yeah, they really have accumulated a lot of knowledge throughout the years, and that is shown in the office room because of all the books and all the antiques that they have. I also placed down a cabinet from the Paranormal Stuff pack, because that cabinet looks really just perfect for that room. And in the cabinet I placed down a vase, which I was thinking maybe is like really an important vase with a lot of value in it, because that vase was, I don't know, used to belong to someone really important in the past, and they got it, and now they keep it in the cabinet, locked in there, so no one can touch it. But anyway, moving on from that, as you can see, I'm now working on the other unit. So I moved on and I'm working on the family unit. I don't know what else to call it, but as you could see, I was doing the entryway, and as you could see already, this house, this unit looks completely the opposite from the other unit. So this one is really modern, it's really bright, it's really, yeah, it's really different compared to the grandparents' house. And I really like this stark contrast between the two houses. In the beginning, I wanted to furnish just one unit because I knew that if I had furnished the other unit, this video would have been really long. But then I was like, I have this idea in my head, I have this storyline in my head, and I wanted to deliver the storyline through the furnishing of both units. Because imagine if I had furnished just one unit, and then you obviously, I would have included the screenshots of everything at the end of the video, but I was just talking about how the two units look completely different, and you wouldn't have seen the other unit until the end of the video. So I decided to furnish both of them and include a footage of both of them in this video so you could see what I had in my head, like the idea that I had in my head, basically. And yeah, so as you can see, I'm now working on the living room of the other house. So this living room looks really bright. There's a couple of white couches from the Desert Lux kit. That is like my favorite couch, but I never use it for some reason. I don't know if this happens to you as well, but I have so many like favorite items that sometimes I forget they exist. For example, this couch is one example. I really like this couch, but for some reason I never use it. I don't know why, but yeah, I really like it because it's really modern, but at the same time it's not like too modern. And for some reason, whenever I build modern houses, I always tend to pick the Dream Home Decorator couch, the modular couch from that pack, because to me that's the perfect couch for a modern house. However, there are still other couches that we can use for modern homes. So this time I decided to pick that couch, and I also decided to go for the Parenthood fireplace. That fireplace used to be one of my favorites, but then when Growing Together came out, the Growing Together fireplace became my favorite, and I always use that fireplace. But this time I decided to switch a little bit, so I decided to use that fireplace instead of the Growing Together fireplace. But yeah, anyway, as you could see, I also placed down a piano. That piano I think is from Growing Together as well. And I decided to have a piano because that room was really long and I didn't know what to do with that empty wall. So I was like, what can I do there? And then I decided to have a piano because it looked really good as well in black. Also, one thing that I'm gonna do off screen, because what happened is this. Basically, I stopped recording the living room slash dining room. It's basically an open space, but I stopped recording and then I was like, this wall, it just looks way too flat. So what I did was to draw a column using, the wall tool. I draw a column where you saw the seasons cabinet. Okay, so that cabinet is basically where the dining area is, and there between the cabinet and the piano I drew the column. It's like a column, so there's a little bump out which looks like a column, and I painted the column with white bricks, just to kind of make that wall look a little bit less flat and have some separation between the dining area and the living room area, because that was a big open space and I didn't like that wall. It was just way too long and way too flat for me, so I decided to do that. But yeah, beside that, I also placed down the table, I think from the dine out, which I never used that before, but I placed that down where the dining room is, not the dining room but the dining area. And then I placed down the chairs from the Dream Home Decorator game pack, and then yeah, I think that's pretty much it for that room. Yeah, moving on, as you can see, I'm now furnishing the kitchen. So in the kitchen, I really wanted to use the new counters that we've got with the Home Chef Hustle game pack, because I feel like I only used them once. So I was like, I want to use that counter again. And this house was perfect for that counter, I think, because it's modern. That counter is kind of modern looking to me, so I decided to go for it, and I went for the yellow swatch because I wanted to try something different. I feel like I'd never done before a yellow kitchen, so I was like, I really like this swatch, I really want to use it, so I did it. And yeah, I think it looks really good, I really like it. And also, I mentioned before that the other unit has the dining room where the big open door is. In this case, this house has the kitchen where the big open door is, the door from the Desert Lax kit. So I really like that as well because yeah, we have a kitchen with this big open glass door, and I think it looks really good as well. And in the middle of the kitchen, I really didn't know what to do. I wanted to have like an island, but then I wouldn't have like enough space for the Sims to walk through. So I was like, what can I do? And then I decided to place down this table. I think from, I can't remember the name of the kit, is a kit, but I can't remember the name of the kit on top of my head. But yeah, it's this table, long table, kind of a little bit higher compared to a normal dining table, and I think looks really good there. By the way, I decided to change the swatch of it, so it's not gonna be that kind of cream color, but it's going to be a darker orangey swatch because I like the way it looked more. But yeah, beside that, I also decorated the kitchen, placing down some clutter. A lot of clutter I used in the kitchen is from the Home Chef Hustle. I have the cookbook in the kitchen as well. I also placed down the cookbook in the grandparents' home because I was thinking that maybe grandma is cooking for the family, so she has her own cookbook in the kitchen open and ready. So yeah, and I was thinking that maybe, you know, she has these older recipes written down that she's, you know, cooking and trying to make the family try her recipes. Yeah, moving on from that, as you can see, I'm now furnishing the bedroom. So this is the parents' bedroom, and again, I really like how much light there's in this bedroom because of all those windows. And yeah, in this bedroom I used the bed from the Modern Luxe kit, which is the newest kit that we've got recently. I also placed down like the curtains from the new kit because I really like the way they look there. I used those curtains a lot. They're so versatile to me. I really like that we've got, you know, curtains that you can adjust them however you wanted to, because I don't know, I don't really like the fact that sometimes we have those curtains that are kind of just for one, you know, window, and then you can't really use them on other windows because they're too big or too small, and when you size them down or size them up, they don't look really good. But those curtains, they are for both small wall height, medium and tall wall height, so they're perfect, and they have the curtain rod that you can use, so they're really customizable and I really like that. But yeah, beside that, in that bedroom I also placed down the side tables from Laundry Day, which I was really surprised because I would never think that I could use Modern Luxe together with Laundry Day. I don't know why, but I think they look really good together. Anyway, and also in the bedroom, I used the modular pieces from the Dream Home Decorator pack. So I created like a little closet with some clothes. The clothes are from the base game instead. And then I also placed down a chest of drawers from the Modern Luxe kit. So yeah, but in a different swatch from the bed, but I really like the way it looks there. I know that they have a lot of space for their clothes because they have the closet, they have the chest of drawers, but I feel like that's quite realistic because sometimes when I see pictures of bedrooms, they have like a closet and then they would also have a chest of drawers. So I decided to have both in that bedroom. And now, as you can see, I'm furnishing the ensuite bathroom, and this house, I forgot to mention, has 4 bathrooms. One is downstairs and the other 3 are upstairs. So this is the ensuite bathroom. And also forgot to mention that the grandparents' house has 2 bathrooms. So one is the ensuite bathroom and the other one is like a normal bathroom, and both of them are upstairs, so they don't have a bathroom downstairs like this house has. But yeah, this is the ensuite bathroom, and in this bathroom I placed down the counter from the Home Chef Hustle stuff pack. I think before I said game pack, but it's actually a stuff pack. I made a mistake. And yeah, I really like the way it looks. I really love this teal color that I used. I think this counter is perfect both for the kitchen and for the bathroom. I really like the way it looks in the bathroom as well. And then behind the bathtub, I also gave them a very fancy tub because, as I said before, the house was fully renovated, so they decided to, upgrade the bathtub as well, and now they have a super fancy bathtub in the ensuite, which I think increases the price of the rent as well, because that's a bonus. But yeah, anyway, behind that bathtub I basically used the modular pieces from Dream Home Decorator again, and I created like a little cabinet, like a shelf where all the towels are, where all the I said kitchen, but I wanted to say bathroom clutter is kept. So yeah, I used a lot the bathroom clutter kit in the bathroom, obviously, but I always seem to use that kit every time I furnish bathrooms because it's just so helpful. Even though it might not seem like a lot, you're just thinking like probably it's just a kit with bathroom clutter. It's not anything too fancy or too crazy, but I use that kit a lot. Also, I feel like that we don't have much bathroom clutter to work with, so I always tend to pick the bathroom clutter from the kit to use in my bathrooms. But anyway, moving on, as you can see, I'm now furnishing the teenager's bedroom. I don't think I mentioned this before, but this household is made of a set of parents, a teenager, and a kid. And I was thinking that maybe this teenager is into sports because, as you can see, I'm placing down like some sports stuff. I'm placing down the decal from the Parenthood, which is a basketball net. So I was thinking that he might be into basketball because there's also a basketball net above the garage. So yeah, this teen is into sports, but I think he's into gaming because, as you can see, I placed down a gaming computer on the desk because I felt like that it was fair for this teen to have a nice computer. They have a really nice house, so they can afford a nice gaming computer. Also, I decided to include the footage of this room instead of the kids' bedroom because, first of all, the other bedroom was really cluttered and it took me a really long time. There's a lot of toys, there's a teddy bear, but also because I made some changes in the kids' bedroom. So I was thinking that you would have seen one thing and then in the screenshots would have been another thing. So I decided to not include it and to include the footage of just the teenagers' bedroom. Also, I really like the way this bedroom turned out. I used also the chest of drawers from Parenthood. I used Parenthood a lot in this house. I'm now cluttering up the chest of drawers. I'm placing down a lot of like random stuff that a teenager would have in their room. I'm now going around, finish off this room, and that's pretty much it for today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please leave me a like and subscribe to my channel. And with that being said, I'm going to see you hopefully in my next speed build video. Bye!